Yann Tiersen's music from the French film Amélie strikes a special chord for many people, and I can definitely see the reason why. The piano pieces are not too difficult and works great to play for students and intermediate players, and this one, the Comptine, is a real gem. Let's start with the title. Like Amélie from the movie herself, it's kind of curious and a bit weird. Comptine d'un autre été, l'après-midi, means nursery rhyme from another summer afternoon. But it's not the afternoon in the summer, because of the colon it's a category of the Comptine. Because there's another track in the film score that's also named Comptine, but la démarche, which means the approach. So they have to be considered related, like two movements in a sonata. The approach is more moving, some action, and this afternoon is not as dramatic. But I'm not exactly clear on which summer or which afternoon it refers to. The music is obviously more complex than a simple nursery rhyme, but it is a clever name to invite nostalgia of a lost way of life or a sense of childlike wonder, as someone put it in an article. Now let's have a closer look at the music. It starts by establishing this accompaniment pattern of eighth notes with the left hand, providing constant motion forward. And it's no use to do it separately with the right hand in the beginning, because this is what the left hand will play for the whole piece. So if you learn these 4 bars for the left hand, you know half the piece already. So the 4 chords. What do we have? E minor, G major, B minor, D, and going back to E minor. So there's 2 things I want to mention about these chords. The first is they're diatonic, so only using the notes in E minor scale. And the thing about this, especially the third chord, the B minor, so it's the 5 in E minor, but the minor 5 from the natural minor mode. And just to compare what it sounds like if we use the major 5, so the dominant, major dominant, to E minor, it's B major. So we can insert it here after this, the D major. You can add the dominant there, the major dominant, to E minor, and you get a completely different harmonic shade. Like that, but it is kind of in the style of slightly more understated to not use that chord and only use the minor dominant. And the second thing about the chords is about positions and inversions, so it's actually only changing 1 note at a time, which is pretty great voice leading to have them that close together. And we move down with D in the bass early, and then it stays there, so makes it feel like it doesn't move that much. Okay, so after the intro 4 bars, we get finally the melody. So again, using only diatonic notes, and so within the scale. And this is like the nursery rhyme, the rhythm of it. It's something quite talkable and easy to get along with. Like you can hum this, da-da-dum, 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 da-da-dum. That could be a nursery rhyme, but of course it's musical here with notes and intervals. Just very pleasant melody. So the final 4th statement is shorter, so like the finishing part of the phrase. So it comes 2 times repeated, and then we move on to the second melodic idea, is longer note values and falling intervals. Again, only using chord notes here. A bit more reflective and pensive, really nice music. Grows into 2 voices for the second time, so develops a little bit. So after this, Now for the third idea, it's the best part of the piece. We get 16th notes. And again, only, so E minor, like it's only E and B, a fifth in E. But here it's all about the rhythm. So. So what's going on here? For the first 3 beats, that would be 12 16th notes, and normally you would group them 3 groups of 4 16th notes. But in the right hand, instead of that, we get 4 groups of 3 16th notes each. But they line up on the beats with the 16th notes, because 12 is, you can divide it in 4 and in 3. And you get this lovely syncopation or a polyrhythm at the meter level. So normally if you only say a polyrhythm, it's like 2 rhythm that has to be crunched together, but these actually line up on the 16th note, so it's like a polyrhythm at the meter level or just syncopation. Just a lovely rhythmic device. And then for this is also part of it, for the 4th beat, they line up with even 8th notes, so 2 16ths for 2 8th notes. So it creates this unevenness for the bar. So first the polyrhythm for 3 beats and then 1 beat that's even. So now I'm accenting the first note of the groups, but I don't think you should do that just now so you hear the rhythm. But have it more even in the accents, in the dynamic instead. But you still have the polyrhythm underneath. So the final 2 8th notes I do accent on the melody because the melody finally moves. I want to mention one other song that uses this rhythm. It's Tattoo by Loreen, which is the winning song of the Eurovision Song Contest in 2023. Loreen is our Swedish Eurovision queen who's won the whole Eurovision 2 times. It's the same rhythm for the whole song, but in another genre. Anyway, here we're halfway through the piece, the Comptine. So after this final time, we slow down a bit. And then we get the melody from the beginning again. But it's 1 octave higher. And in fact, we get all the 3 melodic ideas one more time in that order, but everything an octave higher. So. I mean, it means something slightly different, like it's more pressing or more out there in some way. And here, so leading up to the 3rd part of the 16th notes, I have an idea to do it differently than what it says, like these phrases up and down and then start over in piano, but do the opposite of that, go forward. I don't think he does it in the original recording, but I don't know, maybe it's an idea. Just a nice ritornado at the end, going back to E minor, and that's the end of the song. Thanks for watching Sonata Secrets. The Patreon shoutout goes to Jane Neerman and N. Ladis.